The story of Cain and Abel. Genesis for genre, biblical, cartoon adventure, morality tale style, colorful, expressive characters, dramatic yet simple storytelling. Chapter 1. The sons of Adam and Eve. Scene description. A peaceful sunrise over a lush green valley. Adam and Eve stand proudly with their two sons. Cain, a strong young man with a serious expression, and Abel, a cheerful, kind-hearted boy. Dialogue and narration. Narrator. After Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, they had two sons, Cain, the farmer, and Abel, the shepherd. Eve, Cain, tend to the land well. Abel, take care of the sheep. Chapter 2. Two offerings, two hard scene description. Cain and Abel stand before an altar. Abel brings his best lamb, glowing in soft golden light. Cain, frowning, presents a pile of grain that looks dull in comparison. Dialogue and narration. Narrator. Cain and Abel both brought offerings to the Lord. Abel gave the best of his flock, while Cain offered some of his crops. God's voice off-screen, warm and approving. Abel, your gift is pleasing. God's voice neutral but firm. Cain, you can do better. Cain clenching fists, scowling. Why is my offering not good enough? Chapter 3. The shadow of Jerusalem description. Cain sulks in the fields, his face darkened with anger. Shadows loom behind him, forming eerie, monstrous shapes of envy and resentment. Dialogue and narration. Narrator. Cain's heart burned with jealousy. He couldn't understand why God favored Abel's gift. Cain muttering to himself, Abel always gets the praise. It's not fair. Chapter 4. God's warning scene description. A mystical moment. Cain stands alone as a glowing light representing God's presence speaks to him, while a dark serpent-like shadow coils around his feet. Dialogue and narration. God's voice. Cain, why are you angry? If you do what is right, you will be accepted. But be careful, sin is like a beast waiting to pounce. Cain ignoring the warning, eyes narrowing. I don't need advice. Chapter 5. The fatal decision scene description. Cain invites Abel to the fields, forcing a smile while gripping a heavy rock behind his back. Abel follows, unsuspecting, under a bright blue sky. Dialogue and narration. Cain grinning but hiding his true feelings. Brother, let's go for a walk. Abel cheerful, unaware. Of course, Cain. The fields are beautiful today. Chapter 6. The first murder scene description. A dramatic moment. Cain raises a rock high above his head. Abel looks up, confused, just before the blow. The background darkens as the moment freezes. Dialogue and narration. Narrator's somber tone. Blinded by rage, Cain did something terrible. Cain shouting, eyes full of anger. You think you're better than me? Abel falling, whispering in shock. Cain, why? Chapter 7. The voice from the ground scene description. Cain, breathing heavily, stands over Abel's lifeless body. A dark red stain spreads across the ground. Suddenly, the sky turns dark, and an eerie whisper echoes. Dialogue and narration. God's voice thunderous, sorrowful. Cain, where is your brother Abel? Cain nervous, defensive. I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? God's voice powerful, condemning. His blood cries out to me from the ground. Chapter 8. The curse of Cain scene description. Cain falls to his knees as a supernatural mark appears on his forehead. The land around him withers, turning barren and lifeless. Dialogue and narration. God's voice. You are cursed from the ground you defiled. You will wander, lost and restless. Cain panicking. This punishment is too great. Someone will kill me. God's voice. I place a mark on you, no one shall harm you, but you will find no peace. Chapter 9. The banishment scene description. Cain, now dressed in tattered clothes, walks into the wilderness. The once fertile fields fade into a desolate wasteland behind him. Dialogue and narration. Narrator. Cain left his home, carrying the weight of his crime. He wandered the land of Nod, far from God's presence. Cain whispering to himself, regretful, if only I had done what was right. Chapter 10. A lesson for all time missing description. A new dawn breaks in the distance. Adam and Eve mourn their loss, while a young child sits, their future someplace nearby, representing hope. Dialogue and narration. Narrator. The story of Cain and Abel teaches a lesson: jealousy leads to destruction, but doing what is right brings life. Narrator. Final words. Even in darkness, hope remains. End of script. Would you like me to expand on any part or add more visual details for Midjourney prompts?